It's about time I do another one of these episodes, isn't it? So, how about we make it a nice one, talk about a certain robot that often gets kind of neglected, I'd say, and it's understandable as to why, because he doesn't appear very often during the scenes he, well, appears in. And that's a little robot I like to call Ben. And when I say little, I mean he's one of the larger models, to be honest. For those who don't know who I'm talking about, Ben is a robot model that is a hover and all, and he's a very cube shape. He has a sort of bin indentation on the inside of him and all, with a small three-piece, because the hand and the upper part and then the lower part is connected to the body, arm that can swivel around and possibly pick up items and throw them into the bin section of his body. Thus the bin name, and it makes sense because that would be a very efficient and important robot to have on the ship, especially with picking up garbage or rags or other things. And he has two small light blue eyes on a screen that are near the bottom of his body, and he is obviously a hover, which means he can't fly up in the air or anything. And he has a gray bottom piece, and his eyes are directly in front of his body on the bottom, kind of, with the arm over it, and a single arm, which makes him very unique looking, with the built-in base body, which the inside of the bin area is a sort of grayish color, and the outside of the body is mostly white with some purplish blue stripes going along it. A very simple design, but a very nice and memorable one. Sometimes less is best with certain robots. Imagine if every single robot looked like a human with some other detailing. They would all look horrible. But yeah, Ben often gets forgotten about, in my opinion, because he doesn't have that many scenes in the film. There's only so many scenes in the film where you see his model out in the hallways and stuff. His most prevalent moments, though, are in the actual repair ward. When the repair ward doors open, you can immediately see him on the far right, or, yeah, exactly, far right, close to the camera, close to the door, in fact. He was part of one of the front sections of all 10 being close to the door, where the door lock mechanism is, that you, when Eve zaps, or when Wally by accident zaps the thing and all, you can see Ben right by the area. But yeah, he's basically in that section, surrounded by some other robots like the small scrubber robot, the green one with his arms constantly flailing, and also Buffer as well. And in this scene, we could see him clearly not being comfortable with his confinement. However, before I move on with him, I do have to bring up something else in the film. Before the Rogue Robot scene, in the hallway when Wally's entering onto the ship, and he's trying to understand how it all works, he presses his right tread, or left tread, I should say, in front of the line, and bumps into one robot, that bumps into another, and then another, and another, and the thing goes on in just a huge big mess. The robot that he hits first is, believe it or not, a bin model. His tread hits the front eye area, kind of the thing, and it goes flying, and a robot behind him that carries dumbbells, well, not dumbbells, but they're like little container basket, no, barrel-looking things, I don't know what they're called, cylinders, and that robot goes flying into the bin of that bin robot model, and it gets stuck there upside down, and the bin just keeps getting smashed and smashed in the back by a bunch of other robots. And considering that certain robot models have different sizes at times, like for example, you maybe see a 75 unit that's larger than the one we see in the repair ward. This bin model, however, that gets crashed into, it's the same one as the repair ward, or at least it's the same size. So I think that they're the same person. It makes sense. They got absolutely smashed, while other ones, they got smashed too, but some of them didn't even probably get damaged by the incident and can still carry on and operate. But the bin model probably suffered the most damage, which is why it's in the repair ward. And in the repair ward, it's clearly not happy with its confinement, considering that it's constantly bashing into the walls, moving upwards a little bit. And then when Wally escapes, flying out, you can see him sitting in his confinement, looking towards Wally from far away. And then when the zapper ray gun hits the thing, you can see him in the very bottom left corner, looking at the thing and slightly moving his arm a bit in response to the explosion. Then he turns around in the next shot looking towards Wally, and when the claws all power down, you can see him still sitting there, right behind a claw arm. And afterwards, he's not really seen very much until the exterior shots where he's out in the hallway with everybody else. It's hard to tell, but you can definitely see him outside in the big crowd of all the other robots. And then when they're all halted, for a split second, you can see him peeking from underneath a few of the other bots. And afterwards, when Eve finally catches up with the rest, You could see him briefly behind Eve at one point, though very subtly. And then when Eve is turning to Wally, being like, "Wah, Wally," all angry, you could see him again behind her. And then when he and the rest of the robots escape again, once Eve and Wally do, you could see him multiple instances peeking out from the rest of the group. And then when he's turning to the left side of the screen, or should I say his right, you can see him banging up against a wall slightly and then turning into the hallway. And that's the last time we see him at all. And just like all the other rogue robots for the most part, with a few exceptions, he's never seen again or mentioned or anything like that. And hopefully he does appear again in like a short or a documentary or something like that, or a deleted scene, who knows. But yeah, Ben is definitely a really cool robot. I quite like him, and it's a real shame because I think he has potential because he has such a unique and creative design, being a Ben with a claw arm that can pick stuff up. And I think he's pretty darn awesome for that. That's basically all I have to say about this guy. Also, with his name Ben, I like to put as the acronym B-N, Ben. I think it works well.